Oh, wow.
I was sickened. I was sickened by the standing ovation. I felt like Hollywood is just spineless, en masse. And it really felt like, oh, this is a really clear indication that we're not the cool club anymore.
You asked Chris, do you want to file charges? And Chris apparently said no, he did not.
Yeah, he doesn't want the hassle. I'd announced this morning that I was suing Will for $200 million because that video is going to be there forever. It's going to be ubiquitous. You do not have the right to walk up on stage and smack somebody in the face because they said words. I don't have anything against Will Smith. He's done great things. But that was not a good moment. It cast a pall over everybody's shining moment.
What happens when someone refuses to follow the rules? When they prioritize authenticity over applause and values over validation? This is the story of Denzel Washington.
For his next project, Cry Freedom. It was a testament to his integrity and the courage to stand up against the weird and distasteful roles pushed upon actors by the Hollywood elite.
Yeah.
Denzel's revelation offers a glimpse into the often hidden world of Hollywood, where questionable decisions are made, and actors are sometimes forced to compromise their principles for fame and fortune. It raises serious questions about the responsibility of those in power within the industry and whether they are truly considering the impact of the roles they offer to actors. In any case, Denzel Washington's recent revelations and the chilling film Sound of Freedom are just scratching the surface of the rot that permeates the industry. But trust me, there's so much more lurking behind those velvet curtains, and if the truth ever sees the light of day, it'll send shockwaves through the entire world, leaving everyone stunned to their core. Meanwhile, one devoted fan couldn't help but share their thoughts, suggesting that the film's rejection by certain platforms is a clear indicator that it must be hitting uncomfortably close to the truth. The fact that the film was rejected by these platforms reveals that the film and Mel Gibson is absolutely right. By now, we all know who hates the truth. Another fan chimed in, fueling the fire even more and insinuating that some of the least likely individuals might be involved in massive criminal activities. We all know that those that look the least likely to be a criminal of massive portions are the worst. The more money they have, the easier it is to cover what they do. Just look at every psycho in history. They were all kind, upstanding model citizens. Anyway, as more brave souls come forward to expose the shady dealings of these Hollywood elites, we can only hope that karma will catch up to them and they'll finally face the consequences of their misdeeds. The clock is ticking and the walls that have protected these power players are starting to crumble. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.
That's a good video right there. I like how, first off, Denzel Washington was talking his talk. Because he was talking about the news and how almost everything in the news is misinformation. Almost. A lot of it is misinformation. And then he started getting into how celebrities go on stage, they give people a lecture on how to live, and then they go back to their mansions. And 9 times out of 10, whatever the celebrities, like these rappers or whoever it is, actors are on stage talking their talk, a lot of the times, they're giving them like bad information to go by. Like I just seen a video of like Keke Palmer on stage talking about how she don't need a man, be a boss babe or whatever, blah blah blah. Now it's not wrong as a woman to go for your goals, but let's not degrade either side. I feel like a man should be.
Denzel Washington is adored by fans around the world, but surprisingly, he faces some resentment in certain Hollywood circles. Today, we're diving deep into why Hollywood, despite all its glitz and glamour, might have a problem with Denzel Washington.
Jim Carrey played your brother, the oldest brother, Keenan. I think the greatest compliment that anybody can pay.
Yeah.
He said, I wouldn't be successful without your brother.
Yeah. I wouldn't be successful without my brother either. I think a lot of us wouldn't be successful without my brother. I think my brother, well, it's different for me. I was nurtured. So I still think because I had their guidance.
Right.
And then nurturing, I was gonna make it regardless.
Right.
Believe me.
You had been around them enough, he and Damon, and been in that family enough.
Yeah.
You was gonna go out there, you was gonna carve your own way.
Yeah. But
Jim needed this opportunity in living color. When you're watching
and
Jim,
you credit not just Keenan, you gotta credit Damon.
Damon, okay.
Because Damon did Earth Girls Are Easy with Jim Carrey, and they were friends.
Okay.
And Damon was like, yo, Keenan, Damon was Keenan's right-hand man.
Okay.
That's his lieutenant. On Living Color,
Okay.
that was his right-hand man.
Okay.
Damon and then Kim. Kim was a soldier in that room, always writing her sketches. Everything Kim did, for the most part, she wrote and created. So you got Keenan was like, he's like, you gotta trust me, this white boy is funny. He's like silly putty. He twists his let me see him. And then Jim went, and he had just, Hollywood didn't want him no more because he did this thing called Duck Soup that bombed. Or Duck something, Duck Factory, and it bombed. And so they were cold on him, so the network didn't want him. And then Keenan saw Jim in the audition that Damon brought him to, and Damon was bigging him up. Keenan was like, he's hilarious. And then from there, he put him on, and he let Jim buck wild. And Living Color was a playground.
Yeah.
Keenan always said, don't just do what's on the script. He made us all writers. Have something in your back pocket, because when we do second take and third take, don't do the same thing. The audience can only hear the joke one time, and it's going to get diminishing returns, so they want to hear something different. And so that's what we did. Keenan was a star maker, is what I'm saying.
Did you know Jim could be what he became?
Yeah, I knew. I knew Jim could be what he became. I knew Jamie could be what he became. I knew Damon. I knew everybody on that set could become anything they wanted to be. Rosie Perez was the choreographer.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes.
For In Living Color. And Living Color was filled with great people, hand-picked people with good vibes and good energy and love. My family, we come to set, we hug each other. You see the love my family has. We have love. That's why I oftentimes, when it comes to people and they talking their nonsense, they talking their shit, listen, I try not to engage, right? Because I know I'm not about the goons and this and that. I got love. I got people that die for me, lots of them. And I don't want to engage in that.
Washington is far from your typical Hollywood star. He's not chasing trends or Instagram likes, and he definitely doesn't conform to the cookie-cutter mold that the industry often expects. In fact, this unique approach makes him a target. Hollywood loves actors who comply, who smile, nod, and play by the rules. Denzel, however, has carved his own path, and that's caused a few waves.
Because I'm loved. So I'm loved enough to step back from it, because I know if I'm in a fight, there's going to be a lot of hands in there. You got the nephews, you got the cousins, there's a lot of Wayanses. And I just go, you know what? I'm loved. So when you get to a Wayans set, you feel love.
Yeah.
You see, we love each other.
Tommy said that. Tommy said every time you guys come on set, you hug each other, you kiss each other.
Yes.
He was like, damn, I wish I could have had that in my
And he
family.
did. He did in my family.
Yeah, from your, yeah.
In my family, Tommy comes on to this day. Tommy had a birthday party. I pulled up. I love him. I love all my tribe. I love them for life. All of them will tell you, I show up. I show up. And when you come in our world, we love you. David Allen will tell you, we love. Period. Nobody ain't gotten. Only people that don't know us got something to say. But anybody that experienced us is like.
A filmmaker known for pushing boundaries, especially in how he portrays race in his films. Denzel, on the other hand, has always been vocal about the power of representation. Tensions between the two are rumored to stem from disagreements over how black characters are depicted in Tarantino's work.
They fuel disappointment. So have dreams, but have goals. Life goals, yearly goals, monthly goals, daily goals. I try to give myself a goal every day. Sometimes it's just to not curse somebody out. Simple goals, but have goals. And understand that to achieve these goals, you must apply discipline and consistency. In order to achieve your goals, you must apply discipline, which you have already done, and consistency every day, not just on Tuesday and miss a few days. You have to work at it every day. You have to plan every day.
Hi, baby.
You heard the saying, we don't plan to fail, we fail to plan. Hard work works.
What are you looking for? Charger?
No.
Oh, you want my credit card? No? Perks of being married.
I was gonna book a ticket to the...
Yeah!
It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be fun. I love you. Oh, okay. You might as well buy a new guitar now, too. Consistency is the hard part, 100%.
Working really hard is what successful people do. And in this text, tweet, twerk world that you've grown up in, remember, just because you're doing a lot more doesn't mean you're getting a lot more done. Remember that. Just because you're doing a lot more doesn't mean you're getting a lot more done. Don't confuse movement with progress. My mother told me, she said, yeah, because you can run a place all the time and never get anywhere.
Right.
So continue to strive. Continue to have goals.
Dude, I got super crazy chills, man.
Quite a contrast from this.
Being a black man in America.
Denzel has always been protective of how black stories are told. He doesn't shy away from calling out stereotypes and speaks his mind without hesitation. This boldness doesn't sit well with everyone, especially in an industry where silence is often considered the safer bet. Then there's Chris Rock, whose humor sometimes clashes with Denzel's more serious approach. Chris is known for his edgy comedy, which sometimes touches on topics Denzel prefers to handle with gravity. For Denzel, respect for culture, history, and individuals is paramount. When that value clashes with Chris Rock's irreverent humor, sparks are bound to fly. It's not about who's right or wrong, it's simply two different philosophies coming into conflict. Forget about Tyler Perry and Steve Harvey. Both have achieved incredible success in Hollywood, but their paths are quite different from Denzel's. Tyler Perry built an empire with his brand of storytelling, often appealing to mainstream audiences, while Denzel has been more selective, sometimes critical of what he sees as pandering to stereotypes. Steve Harvey, on the other hand, embodies Hollywood success with fame, endorsements, and a larger-than-life persona. Denzel, however, is a quieter force. He's not chasing fame, he's chasing excellence. He doesn't aim to be the loudest voice in the room, he wants to be the most impactful.
The most selfish thing you can do in this world is help someone else. Why is it selfish? Because the gratification, the goodness that comes to you, the good feeling that I get from helping others, nothing's better than that. Not jewelry, not big house I have, not the cars, but it's the joy. That's where the joy is, in helping others. That's where the success is.
And at the top of Denzel Washington's list of things to do to become successful?
God, dude.
God first.
In helping others. Finally, I pray that you put your slippers way under the bed tonight, so that when you wake up in the morning, you have to get on your knees to reach them. And while you're down there, say thank you for grace. Thank you for mercy. Thank you for understanding. Thank you for wisdom. Thank you for parents. Thank you for love. Thank you for kindness. Thank you for humility. Thank you for peace. Thank you for prosperity. Say thank you in advance for what's already yours. It's how I live my life. That's why I am, one of the reasons why I am today. Say thank you in advance for what is already yours. True desire in the heart for anything good is God's proof to you, sent beforehand to indicate that it's yours already. I'll say it again.
Wow.
True desire in the heart, that itch that you have, whatever it is you want to do, that thing that you want to do to help others and to grow and to make money, that desire, that itch, that's God's proof to you, sent beforehand already to indicate that it's yours. And anything you want good, you can have. So claim it. Work hard to get it. When you get it, reach back. Pull someone else up. Each one.
What makes Denzel so fascinating is his unwavering commitment to his values, especially in an era when actors are often swayed by public opinion. He remains steadfast, choosing roles that matter, stories that resonate, and projects that leave a mark. Whether it's in Glory, Training Day, or Fences, Denzel's work speaks volumes about his dedication to authenticity. He's not just trying to be another actor, he's working to be a storyteller, a craftsman, a legend.
Denzel taught me the best lesson. Denzel said, I'm gonna show you the difference between me and you. He said, I'm a movie star, you a TV star, watch this. People would come up, oh my God, Mr. Washington, I watch every movie, I go everywhere. He said, to come see me, you got to get a babysitter, get in your car, stand in line, buy a ticket, stand in another line, get your popcorn, go to a seat, wait, and I come up on the screen 25 feet tall. Then they leave and they don't see me no more unless they come to another movie to watch how they come up to you. As soon as they see me, Steve, what's up, man? Hey, Steve.
They know you. They know.
Here's the twist. While Hollywood may harbor resentment, Denzel is beloved by fans. Audiences see beyond the glitz and glamour. They recognize the man, the talent, and the legacy. Directors like Antoine Fuqua have praised his work ethic, and his co-stars often speak of his ability to elevate any project he's a part of.
Let's give it a look.
Most disturbing problems in our world today is human trafficking.
So what a responsibility you all have. To tell the truth, not just to be first.
Now, the first step in eradicating this crime is awareness. Go see Sound of Freedom.
What do you make of all the fake news and it affects?
If you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. If you do read it, you're misinformed.
Among all the controversies and scandals that constantly hog the headlines,
Denzel Washington talking that talk.
There's this one movie that's spilling the beans on a dark and sinister secret: illegal human trade. Sound of Freedom is literally showing us the bad and the ugly side of Hollywood. And here's the worst part. The industry seems to be giving it the cold shoulder, like they don't want it to succeed. But guess who's not having any of that nonsense this time? None other than the one and only Denzel Washington. Yep, you heard it right. This popular celebrity is putting his foot down and taking a stand against the industry's shady tactics. So what exactly did Denzel say?
So what a responsibility you...
I'm not gonna lie, Denzel. You know what I'm saying? That New York fitter right there is fitting you well, brother.
These shady tactics. So what exactly did Denzel say?
So what a responsibility you all have. To tell the truth, not just to be first.
The seasoned actor, known for his outstanding performances and down-to-earth demeanor, had some choice words to share about the current state of Tinseltown. In a recent interview with The Hollywood Reporter, he pulled no punches, calling out Hollywood's elite for their arrogance and lack of connection with everyday people.
It's like people say, the difficulty of making a movie. I'm like, send your son to Iraq. That's difficult. It's just a movie. It's like, relax.
Washington didn't shy away from addressing the declining ratings of big Hollywood award shows, attributing it to their overemphasis on pushing identity politics in the faces of viewers. He claimed that the public has grown weary of the so-called woke Hollywood elites who seem to believe they are above everyone else. They stand on stage, patting themselves on the back, and lecture the masses on how to live their lives, all while living in their lavish, multi-million-dollar mansions. But it seems that not all celebrities have lost touch with reality. Denzel Washington, a man who has clearly retained his grounded perspective, voiced his disdain for this behavior among his colleagues in the entertainment industry. He recognized that when Hollywood figures present a more humble and realistic view of their own privilege, they earn the respect and admiration of the public. Denzel Washington's no-nonsense attitude didn't stop there. He questioned the notion that making movies is an incredibly difficult task, comparing it to being a garbage man or sending someone's child off to war.
I like being a garbage man better. But they weren't bad jobs. It's like people say, the difficulty of making a movie. I'm like, send your son to Iraq. That's difficult.
He scoffed at the idea that actors should think they are doing something.
This is what makes the story so compelling. Hollywood's disdain for Denzel Washington isn't a reflection of his character, but a reflection of the industry's insecurities. Denzel doesn't conform, and that scares people. He doesn't compromise, and that intimidates them. He doesn't seek approval, and that threatens an industry built on validation.
A movie, Denzel's message was clear. Let's not get carried away with self-importance. Making movies is a luxury and a gift, not a heroic endeavor. Interestingly, Denzel Washington seemed to have found an ally in none other than Mel Gibson, a Hollywood figure who's actually promoting the Sound of Freedom movie.
Now, the first step in eradicating this crime is awareness. It goes in Sound of Freedom.
So Gibson, who was sitting alongside Washington in the interview, was seen nodding in agreement with the veteran actor's candid remarks. Anyway, apart from agreeing with Mel about Hollywood, Denzel Washington has not only been a powerful presence in the entertainment industry, but has also played a crucial role in exposing the devious ways of the elite through his own genuine actions. The elites often try to present themselves as altruistic philanthropists, using their wealth and influence to portray an image of goodwill and benevolence. However, behind their carefully crafted facades, many of them are involved in heinous misdoings or simply enable such behaviors to persist. In stark contrast to Oprah's pompous display of elitism disguised as philanthropy, there's Denzel Washington, a true advocate for helping children. He's been actively involved with organizations like the Boys and Girls Clubs of America, Save Africa's Children, and the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund. Unlike Oprah's flashy endeavors, Denzel's commitment to making a difference is evident in his genuine actions and dedication. Aside from this, Denzel also exposed the underbelly of the movie industry, where powerful Hollywood elites try to manipulate and force actors into portraying characters that don't align with their values. In a tell-all interview that sent shockwaves through Tinseltown, Denzel Washington pulled back the curtain on the dark and often bizarre side of the movie industry. The legendary actor, known for his powerful performances, opened up about the peculiar roles he was once forced into, revealing the manipulative tactics employed by Hollywood elites. In the interview, Denzel reminisced about his early days in the industry, recounting a bizarre movie role he was offered in 1986.
I got a part in a movie in 1986. I called it The Nigga They Couldn't Kill.
The film depicted a disturbing storyline in which his character, a black man, was accused of essaying a white woman. As if that wasn't unsettling enough, the plot involved several attempts to electrocute and hang his character, all while trying to paint him as some sort of twisted hero. But what shocked Denzel even more was the nonchalant attitude of some Hollywood insiders during the audition process.
But imagine for a moment if more actors were like Denzel Washington, unapologetically themselves, fiercely committed to their craft, and unafraid to challenge the status quo. Would Hollywood be better for it? Probably. Denzel's journey isn't just about one man. It's a blueprint for anyone striving to succeed without losing their soul.
Scorsese came out and he said, I don't think these superhero movies are cinema. I mean, I don't know where you stand with that. I'm curious. I kind of felt like, oh, that's kind of an elitist attitude. I mean, Scorsese's certainly one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. I worship the guy's movies, but I mean, it is cinema. I mean, is it not?
Well, okay. Again, it's like, he's an old man. You think Scorsese's going to be into Ant-Man versus the Wasp?
Why not?
But he's not going to be, all right? I don't think he would have been that into that at 37. Forget about however fucking old he is now, all right? That's just not his thing. I mean, even me, when it comes to, I mean, I used to collect Marvel comic books. I loved Marvel comic books. And, you know, if all this shit was coming out in 86, I would be all down with it. You know, they waited till I got too old, all right, you know, for me to be so into it. But I think it's you know, it's more about the fact, I mean, I ended up talking to a kid just, if you're listening, Brandon, I'm talking about you. I met a kid I'd never met before at a party the other day, and he started a conversation with me. And he asked me about what I felt about superhero movies. And I had this but, you know, he's talking about how he saw the first Iron Man when he was 4 or 5. Right. So, to him, Marvel movies and DC movies are movies.
Right.
And there's been actually almost no competition to show him that there can be anything else. So going to the movies means going to see those movies.
Right.
Then there's Jim Carrey, another Hollywood maverick whose words shed light on this dynamic. Jim understands the price of individuality in an industry that demands conformity.
It's the Star Wars movies, and if it's not that, it's the Harry Potter movies, and if it's not that, it's the Transformer movies.
So you don't feel any pressure in making another movie where you'd have to do lots of special effects and change your whole style of filmmaking? I mean, you're not going to
No, if I wanted to do that, I would do that. But I've never really been a big do a bunch of special effects later kind of guy. I almost kind of come from the idea that if you didn't shoot it on the day, it doesn't count.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like, no. We're there with the crew, the actors, everything. We shot it on the day. We sent the film to the lab. It came back. It's done. Now, you can do little tiny things, but I'm very about practical effects. No, I work with makeup effects, and I work with animatronic effects or whatever. No, I have the K&B. I have the best effects team in the world, and the idea is, no, they're going to create it, and we're going to do it on stage. We're going to capture it on film.
Denzel Washington's journey isn't just about navigating Hollywood politics. It's a story of resilience, integrity, and excellence. It serves as a reminder that greatness often comes at a cost, but it's a cost worth paying. For every critic he's faced, there are millions of fans who stand by him. For every disagreement, there's a legacy that will outlast any controversy.
You know, like they've done like 40 years in the penitentiary together. So, and, you know, incarceration rates in America has been a problem, especially as opposed to minorities. And Roman delves into the issues around the legal system. Do you think we've made any headway in the
I
legal
think it's more important to make headway in our own house. By the time the system comes into play, the damage is done. They're not locking up 7-year-olds.
Yeah.
You know, I was in Chicago a couple of 3-4 weeks ago, and we saw these little kids on bikes with masks on the side of their head, like 5 or 6 of them. And the driver said, yeah, they're little yummies. I said, who? He said, little yummies. Look up, Google Little Yummy. Little Yummy was an 11-year-old murderer.
Wow.
And you look at his picture, you'll see the headshot of him, and he's like this. And he got murdered at 11 by a 14-year-old who's doing life now, and a 16-year-old.
It makes no sense.
You blame the system? Where was his father? It starts in the house. It starts in the home. And yeah, well, my father got locked up. Well, where was his father?
Yeah.
And Mr. Washington talked about the friends he grew up with.
That's why people need to learn how to change and break the generations.
Yeah.
That right there, the little kids doing that is
gonna keep
crazy.
recycling and recycling until somebody break that chain.
Exactly. It's that's crazy.
And Mr. Washington talked about the friends he grew up with and what happened to them.
But like I did talk about my 3 closest friends, and they did, 15 to 25, one did 28, this and that. I was the only one of the 3 that had a father in my life, even though my parents were together. But I still had a father who was a gentle man and a good example, and they didn't. We can blame the system if we want, but they didn't lock any of us up at 7.
Yeah.
We were all doing enough to get locked up at 13. My parents sent me in another direction. They didn't have anybody to help them, and they kept doing what they was doing.
The formula for success: hard work, focus, commitment, persistence, perseverance, sacrifice, and believing in yourself.
But remember, dreams without goals are just dreams, and they ultimately fuel disappointment. So have dreams, but have goals. Life goals, yearly goals, monthly goals, daily goals. I try to give myself a goal every day. Sometimes it's just to not curse somebody out. Simple goals, but have goals. And understand that to achieve these goals, you must apply discipline and consistency.
So why does Hollywood seem to dislike Denzel Washington? Maybe because he embodies everything they wish they could be: authentic, unyielding, and undeniably great. And while they may resent him, they can't ignore him. Because Denzel Washington isn't just a star, he's a force, and forces like that don't come around often.
Washington talks about the truth behind race. Denzel Washington has been super prominent in my life, but more so from an inspirational perspective. For me, even like with Marilyn Manson and other musicians, I've been a fan of them as a person before their art. And that just comes from watching interviews. I've heard Denzel Washington give graduation speeches where he just speaks so profoundly, and he's got so much wisdom that really, really helps people, and it's tremendously helped me. Whenever he was giving the speech about being surrounded by all the ghosts of your potential and not wasting that potential, it was like bone chilling for me. So to be honest, I know this is gonna slap a lot of y'all's gooches, but I've only seen Training Day, haven't seen Book of Eli, haven't seen any other Denzel Washington.
Then there's Chris Rock, whose humor sometimes clashes with Denzel's more serious approach. Chris is known for his edgy comedy, which sometimes touches on topics Denzel prefers to handle with gravity. For Denzel, respect for culture, history, and individuals is paramount. When that value clashes with Chris Rock's irreverent humor, sparks are bound to fly. It's not about who's right or wrong, it's simply two different philosophies coming into conflict.
I'll do it for you. Fuck! That was harder than I thought. So I'm really interested to know what Denzel Washington has to say about this topic. So with all that being said, let's dive into it, man. Link to the original video will be down below if you want to check it out for yourself. Let's go, man.
This is about Denzel Washington, not about his acting, which is great. No, this is about his perspective. He's probably the only person in Hollywood speaking the truth about so-called race relations. Now, don't get me wrong. He's nobody as Republican. He probably wouldn't have voted for Donald Trump if you paid him. But
for Black people in particular, do you think that we can truly make change as things are right now?
Well, it starts in the home. You know, if the father's not in the home, the boy will find the father in the streets.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I saw it in my generation and every generation before me and everyone since. It starts in the home. You know, if the streets raise you, then the judge becomes your mother and, you know, and prison becomes your home.
Bedroom.
This interviewer was determined to get Denzel Washington to go BMW. For those of you new to the El Dorado Nation, BMW stands for bitch, moan, and whine, and Denzel Washington wasn't having it.
I want to just ask you, though, the way that she framed that question, though, do you think that we can truly make change? It's like she's already kind of setting that notion, and Larry Elder's 100% right, man. In today's culture, today's society, a lot of people like to play the victim. Their mannerisms, the way that they communicate, the way that they carry themselves is just laced with this victim mentality, and it's so annoying, man. Over that.
About the issue of race relations, because the film touches upon that. Right now, under President Obama, over the last 8 years, in your mind, have race relations improved under his leadership?
You know, race relationships have to do with race relationships. You're white or whatever you are, I'm black or whatever I am. We're standing here talking now. That's how we get things done. You can't legislate love. The President of the United States can't legislate us into liking each other. We have to step forward and ask questions about each other and engage. There's no law that says, oh, because I'm president, you all got to get along now. So it's up to us.
He tried again.
Denzel Washington's journey isn't just about Hollywood politics. It's a story of resilience, integrity, and excellence. It's a reminder that greatness often comes at a cost, but it's a cost worth paying. For every critic he's faced, there are millions of fans who stand by him. For every disagreement he's had, there's a legacy that will outlast any controversy.
Denzel, talk to me about systemic, institutional, structural, foundational, endemic racism. And Denzel Washington wasn't going with it.
There's been so many protests. And
just another example of that victim mentality, right? Like, hey, let's just keep talking and get all these prominent figures in society, in movies, in society to continue saying that systemic racism is a thing. Let's keep, we get into a touchy subject, we get into a really slippery slope because regardless of the past, we have to go forward. We can make change. We have to do that. And one of my favorite quotes is from Toni Morrison. There is no such thing as race. There's not. It's totally a social construct, right? There's only one race, and that is the human race. That is us as humans. Whether you're black, white, male, female, blue, purple, fucking Warren Buffett or Jimmy Buffett, it doesn't matter, right? We are the human race. And that's speaking scientifically, that's speaking anthropologically. Racism is a construct, a social construct, and it has a social function, which is racism. There's no such thing as race, there's the human race. Absolutely love that.
In America, especially during the election, Black Lives Matter movement, for example, and those issues, has that movement in particular, the Black Lives Matter movement, helped race relations or not in America?
Well, listen, we live in America. And in America, we have the freedom to express ourselves. We shouldn't take that for granted. So whatever the movements are, whether you agree with them or don't, they have the right to express themselves. So that's one of the great things about being in this country, that you do have the right to protest.
Here's the deal.
I love her facial expression.
Democrat. He knows damn well why so many blacks are involved in the criminal justice system.
It was something I read where you talked about your people from Mount Vernon saying that, you know, like they've done like 40 years in the penitentiary together. So, and, you know, incarceration rates in America has been a problem, especially as opposing minorities. And Roman delves into the issues around the legal system. Do you think we've made any headway in the
I
legal
think it's more important to make headway in our own house. By the time the system comes into play, the damage is done. They're not locking up 7-year-olds.
Yeah.
You know, I was in Chicago a couple of 3-4 weeks ago, and we saw these little kids on bikes with masks on the side of their head, like 5 or 6 of them. And the driver said, yeah, they're little yummies. I said, who? He said, little yummies. Look up, Google Lil Yummy. Lil Yummy was an 11-year-old murderer.
Wow.
And you look at his picture, you'll see the headshot of him, and he's like this. And he got murdered at 11 by a 14-year-old.
Wow.
Who's doing life now, and a 16-year-old.
Fuck.
You blame the system? Where was his father? It starts in the house. It starts in the home. And yeah, well, my father got locked up. Well, where was his father?
Yeah.
Right.
And Mr. Washington talked about the friends he grew up with.
It makes me want, and I totally am aware that I am a white male. I get that. So there's, you know, that I just felt the need to say that for some reason, that I didn't grow up in that environment. That being said, I don't know what it's like to experience that, but I can understand it. I grew up in a rough household, not like that. It makes me want to say if there's...
And here's the kicker. No matter how much Hollywood may try to dim his light, it won't work. At the end of the day, talent, integrity, and authenticity always shine through. Denzel Washington is living proof of that.
When the devil comes at you, maybe it's because you're trying to do something right. And for whatever reason, the devil got a hold of that circumstance. I don't know all the ins and outs of the situation, but I know the only solution was prayer. I don't want to say what we talked about, but there but for the grace of God, go any of us.
Thank you, D. Denzel said to me a few minutes ago, he said, at your highest moment, be careful, that's when the devil comes for you.